Hey YouTube, biracial Tiffany here. Hope you're all doing well. So Barack Obama, big news. Yay America. A lot of people have emailed me, texted me, sent me videos. Brian, Tryon, thank you. I really actually enjoy watching those BarackObama.com videos on YouTube. I have to admit that I have not been the biggest Barack Obama fan. And this is like maybe the first time where I feel like I could perhaps accurately be called a race traitor because he's biracial and I am on the fence. Actually, though, I talked to my dad about it a lot today and he sort of made me feel better about the whole thing. But I just sort of feel like I do not think it is appropriate for me to judge how he identifies himself. I think he's clearly made a choice to be biracial black. You know, he identifies as black. But I think that's kind of interesting since he grew up mostly with his white family and his black family was in Africa, I think. And so I just feel like I wish he would sort of address that more. I wish he would say more about his white family than my grandmother was a typical white woman who was racist. It would seem to me that he would perhaps not like owe them more than that, but that they would mean more than that. And I sort of feel like in terms of this campaign, that's how he's brought them in to the picture with that one big race speech. And I saw something on YouTube that was an interview with Chris Matthews, and the title of the video was Barack Obama's Biracial Perspective, and Chris Matthews says, so what was it like growing up as a black kid with a white mom? And he says, well, it was interesting or something, and you know, 2 seconds later they were no longer talking about biracial. But I think if somebody said to me, what was it like being a black kid with a white dad, my response now would be, well, I could only know that if I was adopted, but as a black and white kid with a white dad, I guess I would say it was pretty normal. You know what I mean? Like, you can only be fully black with a white dad or mom if you're adopted, right? So I would have loved, it would have just been like so great for me to hear Barack Obama say something like that. And, you know, certainly he does not need to do anything to make me happy, and I just feel like I'm going to get all these comments and emails that, you know, I'm an Uncle Tom or something. I don't know. But, you know, just for me, for the biracial visibility that I would like to promote and the ways that I would like, you know, to see biracial people treated in the media and, you know, generally thought of 10, 20 years from now, I kind of feel like he's hindering that. But may the best man win. And congratulations, and it's a huge accomplishment for Barack Obama and for our country, I think. So that's good, and that's all I have to say about that. And I'm entitled to my opinion too, and that's it. I also wanted to clear one other thing up from the last diary, because I think it sounded like I was saying that Malcolm X was calling mulattoes house Negroes or something, and I think I left out an important sentence of, I have heard people say to mixed people, you know, maybe you would have been a slave in the house, but you still would have been a slave, or, you know, something like that. And that was my train of thought, and I don't think I made that clear, and I didn't mean to accuse Malcolm X of anything. It was just seeing him say whatever quote I heard led me to the thoughts that I had about mixed people being, you know, house slaves or not, or whatever. So I'm sorry about that. And the other thing I've been thinking about a lot lately, and maybe it has to do with Barack and his grandparents, and so maybe this is going to be like, you know, some mulatto diary that like comes together when I thought my thoughts are kind of scattered and all over the place today, because they are. Anyway, just how my grandparents, my father's parents, coming from Kentucky and sort of being taught the things that I imagine and kind of think that I know that they were taught about race, what an experience it must have been for them to have this black grandchild and, you know, to take it places with them. I wonder, you know, when they first got married, if someone had said, you know, you're going to have a black granddaughter in however many years, what their reaction would be and how they would think about that and what they would think they would do with that situation. And then I'd like to see how that perhaps contrasts with what the reality was. Because my parents separated when I was 5. I spent a lot of time with all of my extended family, but I was very lucky to spend a lot of time with my grandparents, you know, like I've said, spending weekends at their house, and they would take me and my cousin Christopher on trips up north. If you're in Michigan, you know what that is, but it's just northern Michigan. And they belong to this, like, kind of, I guess, I don't even know how to describe it. It's called Canadian Lakes, and you belong to it, and you can build a house, or you might just own some land, and there's a golf club, and there's pools, and I don't really know what you call something like that. It's not a country club. It's not, I guess it's a community, a gated, like a condo kind of thing, but it's not. So I'm sorry that I don't really know what this kind of place is called, but I just imagine that it must have been an experience for them to have me there with them, and I would really like to get the courage up to ask them if, you know, if there were any feelings of tension or something that I might have been oblivious to because I was very young, or if, you know, anybody had made a comment to them. And it's not like I think, you know, they deserve a round of applause or something for accepting me and loving me. But I think, you know, for them that must have been a big, a profound experience. It must be a profound experience for them. Perhaps not so much anymore because they've had me for 31 years, but for them to have me. And I think that they were very brave and very open, and I think that's to be respected, if not applauded. And so I will just say that I respect that a lot. And hopefully I'll talk to them about it, and hopefully it'll make the diaries or the documentary or whatever, because it must be interesting. Must have been interesting for them. I guess that's all for today. I'm sorry if this one's a little disappointing. My thoughts have been all over the place lately, so those are the ones that have to do with being biracial anyway. Thanks for listening.